extra.
Banhammer. You guys streaming on 56K?
Or drop the banhammer all over.
Are you modding?
Mm-hmm. As soon as it pops up.
It does work. Just pop out the chat.
Oh, you can do that?
There it is.
Wow.
You never knew you could pop out chat?
Yeah,
No,
that's the
I
most
didn't know
useful
that.
thing in the world. Hey, we're live.
But can I smack you? Just because I want to get this fly. I just want to make sure. It's like, oh my God. I'm going to smack you, just letting you know. The fly is way too annoying. Is it working?
It is
Yeah,
working.
we're on your stream.
Hello, I see us. Really?
Hello.
Okay. All right. So we just went to the Tennessee State Legislature, and we had kind of private meetings, which is the way to go, I think, for lobbying, instead of a public hearing. So we met with the sponsor of the Right to Repair bill, which was Representative Jernigan, and he was the one that kind of invited us down. We booked tickets before we really read the bill. That's another thing we learned. You gotta read the bill real close, like before you buy tickets. And so we missed the line in there, which was, we want the right to have fair access to the same parts and information that are available to the manufacturer's authorized repair stream. And then we missed the line that said, comma, for consumer electronics installed in farm tractors, period. Whoops. So, discussion of farm bill. So this is for tractor only. So we came down here, and our goal was to change that, to make to get some people on board with making the bill more inclusive and include consumer electronics. And that, I think we did. So, high five. So, one of the things we did today is we went around and talked for maybe 10 or 15 minutes with 3 different key members of the subcommittee that is going to kind of hear this bill first, and that has to pass committee in order to be able to kind of move down the line.
One sec, hotel Wi-Fi is failing terrible.
Huh? Oh yeah,
Somebody said it's all
we had to
fine.
make ours like super low last night. But then we did. Yeah, we made it 1,000. 1,000. And it was okay.
That bit rate though.
I don't know what a bit rate is. So I just did that.
Whatever it comes from.
Whatever,
Was it
random
2500?
number
I think it's
generator.
2500 one.
All right. So what we're going to do now, I'm here with who hasn't met, can we see Larry? Make it so we can see Larry.
Minor.
It's Larry Johnson. Larry Johnson,
Larry's
king
now
of
famous.
the original concept for the 6+ shield, so future-proof shields.
Thank you.
And this is Larry, Tennessee resident.
Can't go day.
Put a face and a crazy accent to Chris Long.
Howdy, y'all.
He showed us how to two-step.
Chris Long, who was got all the great information all the time, and
Supermod.
this is the man. This is the
Supermod.
man. Yes. Everybody knows Michael by a case from me because I have no girlfriend. Over there.
Mr. Big Toe.
That's right. And then Lewis. Lewis didn't go out with us this morning, so he wasn't feeling well, and now he's awake. So I'm really interested to hear his take on kind of what he would have said, especially because we didn't get good feedback from everybody. So let's kind of watch this together. You guys won't be able to watch it because we won't be able to stream. It's just us sitting around talking. But the audio is what's important. So let's see what happens. So we'll tell you what happened. So first,
Somebody gave you $2.
Who did?
Tim Sherman.
Thanks, Tim Sherman. Buy a water, and thanks for fighting for us. I will definitely do that.
If you're gonna need
Thanks,
more than
Tim
$2, Tim's gonna have to send you 19 cents. So.
Yeah, I'm gonna need another 19 cents.
Yeah, Tim.
Unless I'll go to the water fountain. I'll go to the water fountain and refill. one of these
Internet
bottles
connection
right
sucks.
now. We are aware of that.
It's a hotel.
Nothing we can do.
It's a hotel.
Right. We're on. Just to be clear, we're already on the bar guy's secret
Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
Because the actual one didn't work.
The actual one didn't work at all. So
It's
so
a
that's the best
hotel.
we can do. It's a hotel. All right. So the first thing that we did was The first thing we did was it was just me and Michael, and we went and talked to a rock, and he had a name, and it might as well have been rock. What was that
Pretty
like?
much. That was fun.
It was like, what?
I probably could have had a better conversation with Iraq. It was he sat there for 10 minutes.
Did
listened,
he
and then
say
left.
a single word other than hello and thanks for your time? Did he say any other words other than those?
I don't think
so
so.
either.
No,
I
that's
think
the
he just
one.
kind of came in, sat down. We had this whole shtick, and then he just said, "Thanks for your time."
We might have gotten like an O when she opened up her phone quick, and that was like it.
Yeah.
Like, oh.
All right, so we can't read anything from him, so that's kind of weird. All right, then we went to the next. This is the lady, and so we got in trouble because
You tried to bribe him.
we tried to bribe them.
You tried to
Inadvertently bribe them.
Inadvertent, accidental bribery.
Inadvertent.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, by that
We were trying to use this as an educational purpose.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we can't help it. I mean, I don't know. I get it that she's gonna already be like, who do we have here? The people that tried to bribe my aide. Okay, gotcha. Show them right in. Yes. Make them sit on. Make them arrange their own chairs. You know.
So that was Susan's aide?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that.
He was
He
down
was
there.
the one
at
that
the
came
end,
back
too.
down at the
Oh,
end.
okay.
So we had gone to make the appointments yesterday, and the aide is sitting there with a busted up iPhone 6 screen. So we're like, what are you going to do about your screen? He's like, well, I guess I'll have to replace the whole phone because the charge port's not working either. And we're like, hell if you are.
We got this.
So it was like, a bunch of moths to a fire. Like, there's a cracked screen, we're gonna fix it. Hey, bro, we'll fix your screen for you. And we didn't want to charge the guy and kind of rope him into this thing, but we thought it'd be kind of cool to
bribe
fix. I wouldn't say bribe. We thought it would be cool
That was
to
a
make,
proof point. Like,
to let this guy know that
there's more
this
options than
cost.
just replace this thing. Because he
Right.
was on the assumption he was going to pay $300 or $400 to.
He was.
I think
Swap
that
that.
he actually had that there to test and see if he would try to.
It was a
bribe
bribery test.
him. I think it was a
I
moral
failed miserably.
A moral test. We failed, so we got to be good. So let's start with So then we come in, and it's clear that he had to go out behind the woodshed about us bringing in parts to potentially fix his phone, and he had to shut us down on that. But then it was kind of like, well, what's wrong with your charge port? Oh, it just kind of charges sometimes and not other times. And I said, well, have you cleaned out? A lot of times they get lint. Oh yeah, I've cleaned it out. Let me look at it. And then you got like a safety pin or something like that.
That
And
shoved the pin in.
yeah, so then it was like, I asked him, like, would I be allowed to, pick some lint off your desk or your shirt, Okay, then I'm gonna clean this out. So then he gave me a paper clip, and we dug out a giant turd of lint, and then gave it back to him,
People are
and he
always
was like,
He's like,
Oh my God.
I tried cleaning it out, and I was like,
Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
okay. I was like, well, maybe
People
we'll
are-
work
Yeah, I looked at it
Jessa
like
pulls out like a
once
quarter
it's all
side.
decompacted, it's just like a big
all right, so let's play
ball of lint.
that part and see if there's anything that is. Help me. Come on.
Where's the book?
This one?
Yeah, this is like pulling the.
I'm using my
That's me
bionic
trying
vision.
to look at it.
That's one of the superpowers of being extremely nearsighted. With the built-in microscope. Another thing you can do, FYI, if you go on eBay and you look for a thing called a USB ammeter. Plug that in and
Probably
see like this. USB ammeters
This is the
like
aide.
$5 little
Just
piece
picking
that
out
plugs
his
into your charger.
belly button lint.
And it
But this is
lets
him
you
plugging
know
in.
what
This
kind
is
of
cool.
current is being consumed by the device.
Taylor, do you care if I record while you do that quick? I just want. We're trying to really show these guys,
Since I've been recording this whole time.
so it's really
I
difficult
get you
for
in trouble. I don't like
people.
We just fixed the charger.
Because we're not lobbyists, we're not attorneys and lawyers, so we
Not
talk as
lobbyists,
attorneys, we
wait,
don't talk
not
over
lobbyists.
representatives.
Well, maybe that
That's so
is.
good though.
We can't use it because of whatever.
Yeah. We can clean the charge board, which just worked. Which is super cool.
I called that
Yeah, that's
yesterday.
fine. I mean, it was cool because he was amazing. All right, so this is us going into he's the gatekeeper for this lady. So so I want to know what you would say.
for over a year,
I think the picture reminded me.
and I don't want it to fall apart at the last minute. So anyway, okay, so you're here about Representative Jernigan's bill. He told me his plans for the bill today are to discuss the bill and then roll it until next year.
Right. So we came down. He asked us to, come out and sort of help support the bill 2 weeks ago. And at the time, we all fix cell phones all day. And so we said, all right, sure, we'll be there.
Oh, you fix cell phones.
We did,
Yes.
And so we booked flights, and here we are. And then we read the bill, and the bill as it's written out has the line that says electronics installed in tractors.
And I just want to make something clear. Yesterday, my assistant called me and he told me that whoever came by had offered to fix his cell phone for free. And we cannot do that.
And we realized that later in the day.
That is a huge conflict of interest, and that would really violate our
Right.
policy.
Yeah.
So I just want you to understand that cannot happen.
Yeah, we're very sorry. We didn't realize that was the thing. We just were trying to. What it is
Well,
part
let's
of what
be
we're talking
safe.
about is not just the misunderstanding in consumers of like they have to spend a large amount of money to replace their phone. We thought that would be a really good way to
No.
to show. We realized that, but it ended up being something where he just had lit in the
So
charging
she
port this morning, and we showed him that he can get the charging port.
So what would you be doing?
Paperclip,
How
and
would
now his
you
phone's charged
get
on,
over this?
So, but no, we're positive that we didn't realize that.
It was like that. I remember when I was little.
I'm not with
Sorry,
that.
she wasn't one of the lobbyists. She was carrying my tripod. She's really only here to carry the tripod.
And bribe people.
My assistant.
Bribe people.
She's not a lobbyist. You can Google
Carry
her.
stuff and bribe.
She's a criminal. She pretended to be.
Oh God.
Yeah, she's staying at the hotel on government rate.
I mean, I just.
Okay, so that's
Just
nice
about
plan.
that. Didn't
Love it.
Didn't think about that yesterday because all of us are trained to be like crack screen.
Fix it.
So we just kind of want for folks to sort of understand where our interest is that the bill. We're delighted for it to go to rewrite in the summer to hopefully include consumer electronics. And the reason why I think that's important is because we want folks to kind of understand what does repair look like, authorized repair. So if I have, this is my iPhone, I've been telling these guys how to get
I
here
was
all
pretty
day.
happy that I
And
took
if
apart
this
my iPhone and put
let's
it
say
back
the
together.
camera stops working on it, if I go to the
I
Apple Store or
thought
the
when you put it back
Apple
together,
authorized
second
repair
time, they
place,
put it back like on.
they will look at it and they will say, we
Met
can't
with her.
fix this on the phone. Here,
No,
we'd like to
I'm a
buy your
professional.
phone.
Oh, okay.
And it costs $299. That's their only solution. They don't really do repair. And then you think, well, it must be hard then. So my
Then you
phone
go
has
with the
no
battery
keep
one.
screws in it. And everybody likes to see the inside of a phone. Are you an iPhone user?
No.
I said Samsung Watch, so.
Oh, Samsung.
Oh, yeah.
Don't break yours.
So, you know what? I have had this watch.
Can they hear the
I'm not
audio
sure if
on
this
the
is
track?
3 or 4 years. My birthday's April 26th, and I got it on my
I hear it
birthday.
better than us.
This is indispensable to me. Text messages come through.
Right.
I'm waiting for something from
So
someone.
she's got a
Big
4-year-old.
Right.
I just glance at it while I'm
Smart
talking
watch.
to you. And if it's something I need to look at, I will, but otherwise I can just ignore it and not sit there wonder. Did my daughter
You don't feel like you're
text me about the
interrupting them by-
baby,
When you look at your watch, you don't feel like you're taking that interruption away and checking your phone.
And then, emails come through, like sometimes I'm sitting
So
here.
what would it
Oh, an
mean to
email
you
from
if
the
it broke?
speaker.
Right,
I better
right.
look at that email and.
And not if that broke, that would be a big.
I felt like I'm trying to
This is, I can't remember.
make her think about things, but I don't want to interrupt her.
This, I might be doing it 4 years.
Yeah, but I think every time you try
So
to make
these things are, there's this misconception that they're not repairable. I mean, this is my phone, I just took the screen off, and they,
This one was only like 25
they
minutes.
are, they're light. The cell phone is a big battery.
Actually, his first career was as an electronic.
Like, she was just so not receptive
And then
to
he
this
moved
compared to
on
everybody else.
to finance. But he takes stuff apart all the time. He fixes it.
Sure. But the camera is like it's this is like a $20 part, and there's 2 screws. And it
Now he
just
doesn't do
plugs
it
right
for
back
profit
in.
for anybody else for pay, but
Right.
he fixes our
Like,
stuff.
she refuses
But this
to
is
be
like
The
like
other
a
day he fixed our vacuum cleaner.
Nice.
And it's an expensive vacuum cleaner, although it's old. So to
And
replace
that's,
it
at this point, I'm
with
thinking
Right.
she needs to
Papa
talk to
just
a
sat
man.
down, little grandkids
Like
in there. Papa
anybody
just sat
here
down,
but me.
working away, all this, and this on top of fix the vacuum cleaner.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's great. You know,
It was
the
just
culture of
something,
repair.
there's an electronic thing that plugs into the hose, and it got pushed back too far. It came out of its position where it just snaps in, so somehow it snaps
She's
out.
talking about how her husband fixed their vacuum.
But otherwise, we
Which
might have
is like,
given that
great.
broken vacuum to Goodwill, and
The
someone
concern
shall pick that up.
and the reason we're here though is that we're afraid if we keep going the way we're going, that in 5 years from now, that vacuum manufacturer will have restrictions, and he will not be able to do that.
Me?
The vacuum will have to go to the authorized service center or be replaced. The manufacturers are purposely doing software and other movements in the industry, whether it's a tractor, my dad's Volvo dump truck, your vacuum, or my iPhone, to make you replace or use their service network and no one else. Like tinkering, you know, I keep telling the same thing to everybody that if my dad altered anything in 1967, he was considered a craftsman and he had a trade. And if I try to do anything like that now, when it talks about my iPhone or my dump truck, like I'm a hacker. Like that's what I consider because there's software involved now, and it's genuinely taking away from tinkering.
The same issues in the state of Tennessee. The state has software, literally, it's like $38 million.
Her point is that they pay extra for stuff that is not proprietary to run the state software,
Driver's
whatever.
licenses.
And so her point
Very
is,
expensive.
then why don't you just buy a phone that doesn't have the restrictions that you're here bitching about?
It doesn't exist.
There's not one.
Right, exactly. So
There's
it
no
was
free
like,
market for it.
that was her point, and I don't feel that we were heard at saying that doesn't exist because they're all like, you know.
She kept trying to tie it back to intellectual property, and it's not. I mean, the schematics they may claim are intellectual property, but you can reverse engineer them. So that's not. I wouldn't think those would fall under. We're not asking for the keys to the secure enclave. We're not asking for. Tell me exactly how your OS is made. We want to know how do you replace a hardware part on a phone, and how does it interact with another part.
That's my intellectual property because I made the phone and I'm not required to tell you a goddamn thing about it. It's
Yeah,
mine.
pretty much. Yeah. Well, that's why
That's
there's
for-
like little logos and stuff on the schematics to make it some type of copyright material.
How would you listen to this and tell me, like, how would you have made the point that we needed to make but we were not able to, which is there is really no feasible, valid option to be able to vote with your wallet?
Proprietary software. And because of that, no other company can simply pick that up and maintain that system for us.
Right.
So, complaining about that a few years ago, we moved into a mode where we would solicit bids where we have ownership, and it probably costs more to get that ownership.
Right.
But otherwise, you're not buying the intellectual property.
Right.
And in some instances we are. In some instances it doesn't pay for us to buy the intellectual property. So we don't. But yeah, we have situations come up like that all the time. And
But we like when we were in Nebraska, I love the Bill's sponsor made the point that you know, she was a farm wife, and
What she just
what I
said
like to do on
was
the weekends was go
about
down to
her business stuff and intellectual property. Can you really? I mean, what she's saying is, I'm not sure I can compel a business to give up what she considers their intellectual property. And earlier, she said, I'm not. You know, if you don't like the way one company does something, then buy something else.
Did she say that already, or is that coming up?
I think she comes
We'll
back
get
to it
into
a
it,
few
yeah.
times. So
And I think that
it's
stems
coming
from
up.
her business though.
Right.
Because she owns a design company, and that's, I mean, they're not patenting the fabric itself, they're patenting the design that they make. So it's a hard,
Well, there is a lot. You know, if you don't like simplicity, you can buy Butterick.
I mean,
Play, I guess. We'll see what she says.
on Deere and look at what the new stuff was. And she said, I want to come here because they have good customer service, and I want to come here and be a consumer because they treat us well and we like what they sell, not because we're handcuffed to them and that's our only option. And I think with consumer electronics, everyone, you know, like I love Michael's example with the school system. It's the problem is that there's this sort of, you know, strategic way that they do repair with the authorized shops that they don't actually repair. They would tell you that this was not fixable and impossible. They would sell you a $300 replacement. They would harvest this and send that to China for overseas refurbishing by overseas labor. And then it would come back and go up in a white box on the shelf and get sold for $300 to the next guy. And that's their system of repair. And, you know, for school systems where, you know, little kids are doing minor things like headphone jack breaks off of a computer, it's a simple replacement, and they just won't do it. And so Michael started fixing for schools.
We deal a lot with education systems, and one of our customers we've dealt with for a long time is Clarksville, Montgomery, and helping them. I should have reached out to the food director ahead of time and got him in here, but I'm sure he does the same thing internally because they're so big that I do externally. And we work with a school district, and the first year they went from swapping the devices with Apple, like she's talked about, to letting us repair them. We saved them $40,000 in the first year. And what was really cool was that they were able to get 2 grade levels, 1-to-1 devices, because of the amount of money we saved them on repairing the headphone jacks and the screens versus paying the 3 times marked up swap out price with Apple. So this doesn't just affect third-party repairs, it affects consumers, it affects the guy with the tractor, it affects education systems. It's
our intellectual property laws.
Correct.
I honestly don't feel that I know enough about intellectual property law to avoid the state of Tennessee or anybody else from being sued. It's not always as simple as passing a law, because you pass a law that creates the possibility for someone to be sued because you're really violating another law. You know, we don't know. You know, maybe
We heard a lot of that from in Nebraska, and
it's real. Listen, I work for a consumer products manufacturer. That's who. Simplicity. That's who I work for.
Awesome. I love Simplicity.
Oh, good. And we make over 9,000 consumer products, and our parent company, Wilton Brands, they make about 9,000. And there's EK Success, they make about 7,000. So we have a lot of consumer products. Not all of them have intellectual property, but a lot of them do.
Right.
And yeah, we vigorously
Well,
defend.
the consumer electronics part of the bill in the other states, it just says make available to folks like
has
us
trouble
the same
relating to people
parts
without
and information for repair, not the building we're designing or building, just the
I'm
same
pretty sure when we
parts
get
and
done
information for
that
repair
me
that
and
you
Larry
make
were
available
discussing.
to
We were sitting in the
your
right here, and we were texting each other.
refurbishing centers and authorized repair centers. Right.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying. The strong arm of government can force a business
All right,
to
here's our
do
force of business.
something that they don't want to do. The tyranny of government can do that. I have to
Keep
make
saying
sure
tyranny of
the
government.
government
that's
is
what I
that a lot.
judgmental on a company
That was the
has
whole
spent
federal
Tyranny of government.
their product.
Do
It
we
is.
have
It's
the
a
right
big
to
balance.
compel business
Exactly.
allow people to compete.
And it's
The
tough
whole time I was
because
thinking
when
there,
I
I
was
was like,
thinking
yes,
about
that's why we
Nebraska,
have monopolies
that
for that
movie
exact
Wall-E,
reason.
the the opening
Didn't
scene
get
of
my
Wall-E
Wall-E
where it's
thing. That was
the
dumb.
world is just filled with
Failed.
trash and because it was all,
I don't.
it's one of
I saw
those.
that, I'm sure.
It was a kid's movie, but it was it just kind of makes you think like, well, do we have that right? And then I think, we ask businesses not to throw their trash on the front lawn, and that's an expense that we're asking them to pay because of the environment.
Head nodding's good stuff.
We ask businesses to have consumer protection from warranties and lemon laws, and there are sort of consumer protection that we all kind of sort of agree with. And I think at some point, when they just don't do repair at all, and we're only able to operate because we can happen to find things that fell off a truck in China. And there's the small businesses that we employ, just in this room. Your entire family is employed in, that there's all sorts of men. I employ 4 stay-at-home moms, and we fix motherboards all day. And
Now that's not illegal for you to do though, to fix the motherboard.
Is
it's
Lewis
not illegal to do that because it's just it's Legos.
If you advertise on I don't know.
The recording that
Just the
we're
internet
watching
crazy
is
whatever that you'll
just
buy
Michael's
for
cell
cell
phone.
phone, and then you harvest those parts. I mean, is that legal? See, that's, I don't even know that much about this.
Well, the problem is sometimes you can't even get the parts. So I guess I want to use, you know, what you do.
I harvest parts. That's what they do
She's telling us
Now
that we
they
should
talk
just
sometimes. I was getting so mad. I was like,
years
let
ago, I
me
remember
get my
going
12
to
seconds of thoughts
CD
in quickly,
joints,
please. And then you can
assholes, things that broke on the car.
But it's coming to the point where we can go harvest those. But like, for example, my iPhone 7 Plus right now, I could do that. If I broke the home button, I could go harvest from the junkyard, but I can't put it in there and fix my phone
Yeah, that's what
because
Michael's
there's a
saying.
software that says you can't replace the home
Okay,
button.
so that's
So there's a ULA agreement that is part of the issue. But really what
so
I'm,
the software would say, I don't recognize
and it just completely disables
this
it.
part and it disables it.
And
And it didn't used to be like that. So it's like
Yeah.
they're becoming more and more
they're
aggressive.
forcing.
Right, gotcha.
It'd be like you guys. I mean, what I'm trying to use as an example is like you're talking about intellectual property, and with your clothes and what you guys do with Simplicity is we're not asking you to reverse engineer your stuff. What we're asking is if I rip my shirt or I break a button, like
Then you
then
can
I can put it back on there, and not putting a monopoly on, like not allowing people to do that and forcing them to go buy new
It
expensive.
took me about 5 minutes to be able to get it out, but yeah.
Right.
And I keep telling them.
And then on the one hand, you say to yourself, you know, see, these are the
Stop you from being able to fix that dang
trying to
button.
think through.
Right.
I'm an economist, and so, you know, I try to
Change your name to.
reason these out to its end. So if I will play devil's advocate with you, and I will see your point. I will do both. So I just want you to know. So with that said,
Lewis.
your issue is that
We can't hear her.
you go to fix it, the software literally says, I don't recognize this.
Or there's no part stream available.
Right.
Or like she's got a great example of these headphones from this guy had built a business
Now,
around
the
it.
manufacturers will say to us that you can get a key, you can make that happen.
They are
You're
allowed
saying-
to say, we are not giving you the key.
Yeah.
And that's the case. Like in the iPhone, you know, like 5, if the home button breaks, I can get any other iPhone 5 and put in it.
Now,
I can
what about
harvest.
consumers saying, then that says I'm something
That
is
is
that
a-
so
it's
unreasonable
Right
in your
here,
mind?
this is fixing
Consumers might say, you know what,
Yes, you
buy
are.
your product. I'm
I hear you, and
so addicted, you're like,
you know, I can't live without my iPhone.
There's been several class
Putting the kids down for a nap.
And like for me example,
Spectrum is very distant.
devices because they changed the home button now. It says you can't use it anymore because the home button's not the same thing.
What did you
And
say?
released software that made the phone
It felt like you couldn't make a point.
After the class action
It's like I wanted
lawsuit,
to
released a
say
new
A,
piece of
B,
software that
C.
says it's
So I
okay.
could say
and
A, and then she would
She would
just
change it.
interrupt.
She just keeps staring at you and is like, not.
When's the perfect time to interrupt you so you can't get your point out?
Yes, that's the
Wait,
When's the perfect time to
Here it is,
interrupt
here it is,
you?
dog.
Yes, interrupt. No!
So close.
It was like whack-a-mole with
She interrupts constantly.
But it was really frustrating because I'm not going to say stop interrupting or talk over her or continue to make the point like I
It
would
sucks
with
because
you know. But
no, it sucks because you can't. If you say that, she's immediately going to vote no,
Right.
but she's already going to vote no, so it doesn't really matter.
it's super frustrating.
there's no security risk.
Yeah,
That's
I
the big
remember
issue.
didn't they have something with Samsung because there was
Touch yourself in the
something
face.
wrong was it with the lithium battery, and
That
so
was-
they
that
changed
was the
Touch
purposely
the card, a
changed the
pen.
software so then.
Then I was thinking, like, how can you make like
That is a
shocking
legitimate safety
statement,
risk.
Right. We can
shocking
see that.
single line statement that will get her attention.
Stop putting your pen to your mouth. That's how you get diseases. Don't you learn this shit when you're like 2 years old? Like, don't put stuff in your mouth.
She has the right to get diseases. If she wants.
That's her choice.
Why are
It's
you
her
putting a
choice.
pen in your
It's
mouth?
not your intellectual property to say so.
That's right.
Why?
Physically failing. This was
What
just
would be
a button up.
your
Yeah.
like single line shocking like think about this?
In response to what?
Anything. Like you, and I think the only thing that would get her attention for you to be able to speak now would be
I'm waiting to get to the point where she scolds you for saying Chinese labor is fine.
Oh, yeah.
And they do inspections and
yeah,
it's
That's
great.
gotta be
that's
coming
coming
up.
up.
It's a party.
Gotta be coming up.
It's a party.
it would be like It would literally be like us changing a button on a jacket, and then them having a software restriction says you can't wear it anymore. Because you changed the button.
Right, where we were able to change buttons, let's say we purchased a part
No
or
safety
bought a
issue.
new one from an alternate supply chain. We installed the button and it works, and then you're wearing the shirt for 6 months, and then all of a sudden it just unravels on you. There's nothing wrong with it. They're able to come into your home through your Wi-Fi cable and disable your phone because it has there's nothing wrong with it. We changed the button and it's just not.
And I can see suing because when you purchase a phone, there was no notice saying this phone has a timeline.
Right.
And the timeline is at our choosing, and if we ever choose to disable your phone through a software upgrade, your phone will now be no good. Like if I was going to buy a phone and I knew that a friend would say, well, this one doesn't have that, I think I'm going to go.
I didn't know.
Where it's like they all sort of study each other.
I didn't even know what to do.
That was the situation. Not that that should be the situation. That's a really bad thing to do if you're,
Well, you
know,
could make the
trying to
argument
be an
that these are
honest
sort of like
and
monopolistic,
good company.
monopolistic repair practices because they kind of force you to use them. The problem with that is that, you know, when Apple does something, then Samsung does it. So
Stuff for fair
But
phones.
you're saying it's monopolistic, they're forcing you to use them, but then you're saying when you are forced to use them, they tell you it's irreparable.
Well, to them, repair means let me sell you a new one. Then they call that repair. And if you Google iPhone Apple authorized repair, it will lead you to Apple authorized service centers. And if you call them and you describe my phone camera doesn't work, they'll say, I'm sorry, the only thing we can do for that is take your phone with all your data in it. What if your baby pictures are on there and it doesn't turn on? They won't fix it.
Well, I got to send my Samsung back, and it took about 2 weeks. I was on withdrawal, just drinking a lot of coffee, waiting for my phone to come back.
And then
it came back.
They'll give you a new one, and the cost on that is a lot. They're just selling.
No, they did fix it. Whatever it was, they fixed it. It was under warranty. It was under warranty.
But if there was physical damage,
What happens after the warranty's gone?
or if there's physical damage, I mean we use these
See,
things
I
every
feel
day.
like what I have to do is map this whole thing out and really think about it. But also, there's so much federal law that I'm not aware of as state legislators. You know, we're aware of some federal law because we researched it because of an issue in the past. Like there's,
All right, I'll be back.
you know,
That was
there's a lot of federal law that I haven't
Nebraska was concerned with, and I think
Let me go do some lobbying.
this isn't really like inventing the wheel because in 2012 in Massachusetts, the same exact thing happened with the auto industry, where the guys that fix your cars, the independent repair guys got together and they made the exact bill. So this bill is just a copy and paste, literally, of that auto bill at the state level. So that bill passed, and then in Massachusetts, and it compelled the auto industry to make available to repair
Tell them the device
parts and information.
might be their
Not
intellectual
for free,
property,
just to make
data.
available for purchase.
Consumers' intellectual property.
And like I said, the stronger the government,
Yeah.
And there was
the
like
power to do that, then it's a just thing to do, and that's
a
what
really
I
good
don't
point.
know.
I wish I'd
And
thought
these
of
people
that.
spend a lot of time
Put that in my notes.
creating the software, creating this product. It's a very complicated product. It's not a simple thing to do. If it was simple, there'd be tons of iPhone type phones.
You understand these
I don't know. When you get to the next one,
damn them work for 3
you get the
hours.
Matlock
Systems to fix.
from
No,
Law and Order.
I love Matlock.
He was a good dude. I liked him.
I'm not like we obey there's a whole social compliance.
Okay, this is it.
It's not really law, but it's industry.
Yeah, this is it.
We put it on ourselves.
This is the part where she tries to explain to us how working in a Chinese factory is like going to Chuck E. Cheese or
But
Fun Bump.
what Chris was trying to do was explain that we're driving jobs out of the United States,
Yes.
particularly in Tennessee, to China. Not
she
that
is-
there was an
which
issue
she
with
is
Chinese
defending.
labor.
Which is something that every one of her constituents should know.
And the common argument is we're not qualified to work on these, but these people in China
Right.
are. These are people that live
I think
out.
when you say these people, that's racist.
Well,
Everything's racist.
it's everything's racist.
You
It doesn't
offended
matter.
me.
But what I'm saying is these
racist
people,
Tennessee.
these people are just like anybody else. They could, if they lived here, they could work
fix it.
anywhere. It doesn't mean that they're specialized or
Can't.
All right, I'm being sued now.
Actually, I'm originally from Georgia. Tennessee people probably aren't qualified. Now that I think about it.
All right, so let's hear it. Let's hear
This
her.
is fun.
Let's hear her chew out Chris for his hatred
Oh, it was great.
of
The Chinese workforce.
hatred of the Chinese workforce.
Is here for the meeting year one.
Okay.
Department.
Okay. But there's, the social compliance has a lot of different factors to it, making sure that people are paid well, that
Making sure people
Are paid. They are paid $300 a month.
Making sure they're paid well.
Well.
Did she just say that?
Yep.
Yes.
Did she say that?
It gets worse.
What?
Oh, it gets worse. Keep going.
What?
And Chris, what were you thinking in this moment?
I was like, that's not what I was talking about the whole time.
Abort.
No, I was like,
That exact moment
I was
I
thinking in my
realized-
head, I was like, I'm not talking about work
messed up.
conditions or income. I was like, I'm talking about the qualifications of the person working on the device.
And the fact that
But
you
she
can-
grabbed it before I could even say anything and just ran off the other direction.
She just takes the bits and pieces that she wants to hear
Yeah.
to talk about and runs with
Which
it.
is the same thing that happened in Nebraska. They grabbed it,
Yes.
they'd snag one little piece of it, take it in a different direction, and then we would have no time to rebuttal. Luckily, we had time to sit here and talk today, but that's what
Yeah.
they did to us all day in Nebraska, and we had 3 minutes, and it was like, ooh.
Yeah, it's like your dog just got out the fence. Wait, what? What are you doing? I don't like it when you,
literally
when you
the
type
fire
like
report,
as Jessa.
that there's no child labor, and many other facets. And we pay third-party inspection companies to go inspect the factories that make our products. And, you know, we are a
Smile,
private
please.
company, we're not on the New York Stock Exchange. Believe me, iPhone does that.
I'm not
They
saying that
abide by
they make it
social
unsafe.
compliance.
I'm not saying it's unsafe
Well,
or anything. I'm just saying
but
that
what I'm saying is they're getting market
Believe me,
wages.
iPhone.
Yeah.
They really are
Yeah,
getting
their
market
wages
wages.
have
There's
come
no child labor.
iPhone has
I
no
think-
child
I think the other thing he was trying to-
labor, and everyone is happy. The Smile Police
Those
go over
suicide
there.
nets are actually
We pay them.
trampoline
We pay them $40.
Regardless of how well treated they are, who cares? It's the issue is that you're paying people in another country when you could be paying people that voted for you.
Happy people.
How about
We're paying happy people.
That's the thing is how
Ones
many
that
people?
don't want to
saying
jump
that-
off the building.
Are you saying those people aren't happy?
No, it's ever since they got the nets on the side of the building, they're happy. They can jump up and down. No, but
Because that's what the nets are for. It's
but like-
trampoline.
Yeah.
But like,
That's
what,
a
what's
trampoline
more
for break
important?
time.
Your voter, like, how many people in China voted for you to become an assembly? Was she a representative, assembly person, senator?
This is what I love about
She's a
Willis.
rep.
Like when I went upstairs, I was like, we were talking to this lady, and I was like, what would you have said? He
How
was
many
like,
people in
I
China
would
voted
say,
for you?
so you support outsourcing American jobs to China? Are your constituents aware of this? I was like, bam.
Yeah.
Nobody in China voted for you. I mean,
We should have rolled Lewis in on an iPad and he could have live streamed across the iPad.
Yeah. Well, but then it's like, would you?
No, but then she
would
would've
you
taken that
have
pen and stabbed me
really
in the
said
eye
it?
with it.
Yes, she would. So would you have actually been able to say that?
in
Like,
the
would
beginning,
you
no,
said
but
it?
at this point, it's clear it's a no vote anyway, so you might as well just.
What would you say to her right now? Like if it was like, okay, you have 1 more minute, so wrap it up.
I mean, none of these people in China voted for you. The people that did vote for you are the people whose opinion should matter, and they're the ones that are going to lose jobs based on based on your opinions and policies.
Thank you for your time.
It's a no anyway. It doesn't matter. At
I
that
get
point,
it.
you might as well.
That's
vote.
good. I like that though. All right, let's see what I think. Is that the end of that? Let's
She
just
went
keep-
on to talk
keep-
about something else. I don't remember what it was.
Did she? All right, let's.
Plan was that there is like 15 to 20,000 independent repair shops in the United States. There's thousands in Tennessee with hundreds of thousands of jobs. And what the manufacturers are doing is because they can force it is they're taking the repair and able to send it overseas for refurbishing and bring it back.
And
And if we don't stop them, they're going to
Are
have.
you okay with
Not being able to change your oil at failure.
Right.
It,
That's.
what it comes down to, when you bought that product,
Okay, so then she goes back to
were
the.
you buying the intellectual property?
Intellectual
Do you
property.
own that intellectual
Should have bingo
property?
going.
Do you own that?
We messed up.
If they have
I
an
don't-
issue with
I-
that, they shouldn't sell me a phone where I can measure resistance. I mean, they should just seal it if that's
That's right.
a serious issue. They did sell me it because I can measure everything in the phone.
Right.
It's just not practical to do so at a speed.
And I didn't say that because I felt like she would say then do that and we're done. You don't need legislation for this. you know, like, and I didn't want her to say that, so because I didn't really know how I would respond, so I didn't make that point.
You should do it. Just because you bought that product, you don't own the software that's running that product. And see, that's where it becomes so complicated. There's a lot of federal law that is over intellectual property. It's not that easy at the state. We do mirror some of the federal law when it's necessary to at the state, but otherwise the federal law applies, and that's what needs to be researched.
It does need to be researched.
It does.
Absolutely
So,
right.
you know, Rep. Jernigan's, this is the first year he's ever filed this bill. It's a brand new issue. Never seen the issue before,
And
so I
very
haven't researched it.
and these are good thoughts. You know, do we have the right? And you could say yes, and here's all the reasons why. And you could say no. And I kind of think of it like, what would it mean to us if we couldn't go to Jiffy Lube and get our oil changed? And we had to go drive 2 hours to the one manufacturer in the state. And that's just when we said, well, they're allowed to.
A situation before BMW and Volkswagen and a lot of them had an oil change service light that you had to go to the dealership to have turned off, even though you've already had your oil changed. So you can now do that yourself, but it used to be.
And what
it
if?
was,
And then if you ignored it for 30
yeah,
miles,
it
your
shuts
engine
it
shuts
off.
down.
Mhm.
Yeah. I mean, I was hoping I could just kind of like make it sound shocking. Like, how would you feel if you couldn't get your oil changed at Jiffy Lube?
I mean, I kind of understand what you're saying a little bit. It's one thing to ask somebody to give over schematics to the board, but it's different whenever you're asking to buy parts such as batteries and screens and camera modules, you know. So,
or even the controlling
Well, like,
IC.
so, yes, okay. Schematics could reverse engineer the hardware, but can they reverse engineer the software that it require to actually make an iPhone, replication?
Who's out there making one-to-one copies?
That's what I'm
of
saying, though. Like,
iPhones
well,
anyway?
let's even think about this. Like, so your schematic is what the biggest thing they'll go on. That, yes, I could reverse engineer the hardware, but once I've done that, all I've got is a piece of hardware that doesn't have function. So what have I really done?
So what do you think, Larry? Should we be making these people sell us batteries and cameras and stuff like that?
I think so. Absolutely.
How come?
I think you're looking at other items like automotive field, you can go buy batteries and tires and alternators or whatever you want. With lawn equipment, you can pull the model number up online, and on almost all equipment you can buy each piece individual. And I think it should be the same way with cell phones. I mean, some of the newer devices that cost upwards of $1,000 are more expensive than some of the lawn equipment that you can buy parts for now. So why shouldn't they? Now that's my logic behind it.
All right, let's get off of her video.
But I mean, while we're on the subject of reverse engineering, like I said earlier, like copyright law thoroughly doesn't have an issue with reverse engineering as long as it's not for profit, and that's why a lot of this is not federal. And I mean, if you look at the articles from the auto industry, and when John Deere went through the big issues a few years ago, they talked about it, and Austin talked about it today. I don't know if you read my blog or what, but it was he said the words that
Yes,
it kills.
religiously, I set my alarm for 6 so I could.
No, well, Austin read almost word for word. It sounded like he was like, it kills innovation in our younger generation. That's what it does.
Good.
But that's what it does. Is it kills innovation. Those nobody's reverse engineering, trying to fix things, modify them, do whatever.
Kids need to tinker. All right, let's hear the other guy, Matlock.
See if I can get rid of
Now, what are we talking about, gentlemen? Ladies, what we
We are here for the Fair Repair Act. Are you familiar with that?
Is that the one with John Deere?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the one where we don't fix John Deere's. We got an email from Representative Jernigan about 2 weeks ago, and he was talking about this bill and said, hey, maybe you can send some guys from repair.org to come talk to some folks here in Nashville. And we said, okay, great. And
I don't think. Should we share this? Should we share the screen? Because I think the people talking, it won't look like a lag because.
Well, let's see.
Even if it's laggy, at least they'll have something to look at.
Yeah. See their body language and stuff.
Let's see if this works.
then booked tickets, and then read the fine print on the bill, where this bill is exactly the same as the right to repair bills in 7 other states, except in this state and 2 others, there's a line in there that says you have the right to repair, or you have the right to fair access to purchase parts and information the same as the manufacturers give their authorized repair providers, and then it says, comma, electronics that are installed in tractors. We didn't see that line. Now, the other bills don't have the line about installed in tractors. So this one right now, as written, is a tractor bill. We all fix cell phones all day, every day. And so we're here just to kind of, I think what's on the table now is to take the bill for a summer rewrite, and we'd like to see it include consumer electronics like cell phones. And so we kind of wanted to just kind of talk to folks about what does it look like right now to get your iPhone fixed if you were to go to the manufacturers. And what does that look like? So if you take this my iPhone that I've been texting people on all day, and if it had something wrong with it where, let's say, the camera stopped working, and I went to the Apple authorized Apple store, or if I typed in and found Apple authorized service center and I went there and I said, hey, my camera's not working, they would say, well, we can't open your phone and change the camera. What we can do is we can take your phone and we can sell you an out of warranty refurbished one for $300, and you'll have to set it all up with your data and everything, and we'll take your phone. And then they would take my phone and they would send that to China, where they would pay Chinese workers to change that camera, and it would go into a white box, and then it would come back on the refurb shelf. And that's easy to think, well, I guess it's really hard and complicated to fix your phone. And I just wanted folks to know that it's not. This is my phone, and I can, I've taken the screws out of this because it's my phone, and I own it. I got the right to take screws out, right?
Are you sure?
I hope so. This is what it looks like inside my phone. This is a battery that I can disconnect, and I can take the screen off because it's just Legos, just like a toy, and it looks like that. No, the camera is right here, and you can see that there's a little flex here that plugs in, and I got a couple screws and a bracket. That's a $20 part, and as it is, changing that out for me or these guys. How much do you charge to change out an iPhone 6 camera, Larry?
I don't know, I'd say $60, something like that.
$60.
That's in my area.
Which is Tennessee,
Yeah.
right? Where in Tennessee? How far did you drive this morning?
I drove from Old Fort, Tennessee, which is right next to Cleveland, Tennessee, which is right next to Chattanooga, Tennessee. So I drove from Tennessee up to support.
Now, and if you did that, how long would it take?
15 minutes.
15 minutes. And what kind of warranty? What if they said, hey, you mess something up? What's your warranty?
If I repaired it, if something's wrong with it, I'm going to take care of it.
Right.
And I would give them on a camera, I'd give them a year warranty on it.
Right. And if you went to do that Apple Store swap and pay $300, you get somebody else's refurbed phone. You have to set it all up. All your pictures and data is gone, and it has a 90-day warranty, and it costs $300. And you've got Larry here, or Chris, or Austin. Austin's also from Tennessee. And how much do you charge for an iPhone 6 camera job?
We charge $50. Yeah.
Whoa!
I need to move up to his area.
That's right.
Yeah, we charge $50.
And how long does it take?
15 minutes at the most.
And what's your warranty?
We give 6 months.
6 months.
Yeah, 6 months on small parts.
Yeah. And so you're feeding your family by doing jobs like that.
Right. And it also employs my wife. My wife and I run the shop.
Right. So there's I employ 4 stay-at-home moms. I'm from upstate rural New York, and I fix a lot of, specialty stuff on the motherboard, as does Larry.
So you think that was a completely separate from the video, you think it was a bad idea that I did that with your phone?
I thought that initially when you were just kind of like doing like, you know, like people are afraid that that batteries are dangerous. This battery's not dangerous. That was okay. When you took the pen and you go, see?
I wasn't. I was
like, how do I, you know, stop it?
No, I wasn't. I took the phone and I made it look like I was stabbing it as hard as I could, but I stopped right at the end.
I didn't know that part.
Fake news.
I didn't know that part. I am just like my ears are tuned for the frequency of.
Is that on video?
No,
Good.
that was the.
Apple be like, this is what everybody is.
What if it became Louis Rossman?
This is what they recommend you do.
This is how
This
he's
is
telling the
repair
senator to
technician.
change your battery.
Okay, I want to go back home and actually see how much effort does it take to destroy a battery?
Not that
Not
much.
much, no.
You can do not that much. I mean, like you can go out and make firecrackers out of a string of them.
I've nicked them with my tweezers and gotten them to arc. So
I never have.
Get out. You're no longer
not
authorized
like
to be
that.
unauthorized.
Not like that.
But how many times have you worked on your car and laid the damn wrench
Oh.
on there? Yeah.
My friend almost set his car on fire doing that.
Yeah, and when we were collecting like things that are dangerous, like if you run out of gas when you're cutting the yard with a push mower and you have 2 stripes left to do, raise your hand if you let the thing cool down before you
Never.
put gas in.
Yeah.
No, you're gonna just be like, I'll be real careful.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have the right to blow myself up.
Exactly.
You know, that's just the way it is. But yeah, you've scared the hell out of me.
I thought that was funny.
Especially because I was like, that's my phone with the boarding pass on it and the, you know, like way to contact everybody.
I thought that was pretty cool.
My intellectual property.
That was my intellectual property.
Your face was like...
I was freaked out, and I was just like, I wanted to just like, you know, like gently, like how do you control your child without?
Pretty
it
sure
was
that
kind of
Jimmy
like, well,
all of a sudden you see him like
you know, like
move back a little bit
but
farther.
you're trying to be really nice, so it was just kind of, we have to go, you know, like
That was
just
fun.
leave.
We're gonna have to go home.
Yeah, exactly. But we got home.
So you fell for it too.
I totally did. Again, I didn't know that Fixin' Mom was the one demonstrating on my battery. I didn't know that.
I'm still waiting for some woman to come on your stream and say, hi, I watch your stuff.
I'll mail her a bunch of batteries on fire.
It's a new version of the
Yeah, but
phone
he
back.
was totally.
Yeah.
I didn't know that you were pulling back on that. I thought you were
You
gonna.
thought I was actually stabbing it as hard as I could.
Yes, I did.
Oh my god, you're gullible. You're the most gullible fixing mom I've ever met.
He's a rock star, and you know, I train people to do this stuff, and it's really just about being a fixer and a problem solver, and looking at things like, you know, this is how you do this, and figuring it out. And there's a ton of information out there that we have kind of developed on our own, and there's some guys at iFixit in California that will take apart every device and make all these pictures. My ability to do that $50 repair depends on me being able to get that camera part. And because it's an iPhone and that's super popular, I can get that part from China. But I don't really know, did it fall off a truck? Like, how is this coming to me? I can't ask Apple to sell me the part, they won't. And so, and we're seeing that the not just Apple, but all these manufacturers are making it more and more restrictive, to the point where there's going to be a day where if I just unplug that camera, the phone is going to say sensor deactivated, you brick the phone, and then claim like security risk or something like that. And that's what's happening with the tractors, where right now the tractor guy, if your instrument panel stops working and you take it out and you see a burned fuse, you take it out and go to AutoZone and get a $10 fuse, you plug that back in and it works. Once you've unplugged from the tractor main module, the tractor's not going to start again until you call up the John Deere and have them come out with the magic phone, plug it in and say reset. You got to wait for him on his schedule. So if you need to harvest the crops on Thursday and it's Tuesday, he might not be able to come. And I asked these guys, what do you have to pay for that? $1,500 minimum for the guy to just come and just basically check your work. And that's unfair, and that's going to happen to things like our industry. Every single one of us, and all of the people that we
thing with this guy is that he believed, and I think he seriously kind of was operating under the premise that he got from just being a citizen of the world, that this is how it works. When you buy Tylenol, Tylenol gets the money because they developed the product, but then 2 years later it kind of goes off label, and then you can go buy acetaminophen, and that's your choice. And I think he thought that iPhone 6 screens eventually, or at first not available, but that eventually they go off label, and then that's how all these shops around us are in business, because that's just the way it is. So what are you guys doing here? And I think the news flash for him was they never go off label, they never are available, and I cannot drive to anywhere or pick up any catalog, especially because he does that all the time, ordering parts. And he was really blown away, like, wait, you mean you don't have any catalog, your catalog is blank. That was newsflash.
Yeah, he could relate, one to one.
Yeah.
Because he could have the same problem. And I think everybody over there today knows that if they break their phone, they can go to a shop and they're able to get it repaired. But if something don't change a few years from now, we're not going to be able to do that. And I don't think they realize that.
I think that was one of the aha moments for him, where he didn't realize that there was a point when we could start buying them. But I also think it was another situation where, I don't know if he's gotten to it yet, but where he talks about he's talked about the caliper, saying,
going to the
if
Lexus
I can't buy it from a third
specialty
party, I can still go to Lexus and buy it. But I don't think he understood that we don't even have that option. If we want, if the only option was Apple, we can't go to them because they don't care.
Because they say
it's not.
You're going to have to tell them to buy a new Lexus. Here's the catalog for the new ones. See? I love this new Lexus. All right, Lay.
Employed in these local businesses, that we're here to keep our customers happy and keep them coming back. We're dependent on these, what feels like kind of an illegitimate industry. What that used to be, you used to feel like a craftsman for being able to, fix and repair things, and they're not hard to do. There's no secret
information used to be willfully given by these companies.
I keep using the same example every time, that me and my dad are the same guy, just 52 years apart or whatever we are. And but when he was my age and he fixed something, he was a craftsman. He had a trade. And if I do it right now, I either can't because I don't have access to the things that I need, or I'm considered a hacker because there's software involved. Like, if he wanted to alter his Le Mans in 1967, he could and make it faster. He could put the air shocks up. He could do whatever. If I want to change the camera on my iPhone right now, they could put a software on that says, no, you can't do that. You're a hacker. And it's like, it overlaps heavily into both industries, from tractors to dump trucks to cell phones, to anything that has software involved at this point. The manufacturers are trying to control, replace, and repair. So they're either making you, by not informing customers that repairs are so cheap that they can't do them, they make you replace it, or they force people like us not to be able to even perform the repairs by putting software restrictions on things. So an example would be, like, right now on my phone, I have an iPhone 7 Plus. I can't even change the home button anymore. I physically can. I can get the buttons. I can go buy another brand new phone from Apple, pull the home button out of it, and put it in here, but it won't work. So it'd be like me going buying 2 brand new Chevy pickups, blowing a tire on one, buying a second brand new one, pulling the tire off and putting it on. Chevy saying, sorry, you can't drive no more. Like, it's a...
Let me ask this question, because I'm in the tire and auto repair industry.
Okay.
Locations in East Tennessee. There is a federal law that
Magnus and Moss.
That's for warranty, though. That's if we're not even talking about warranty at this point.
But here's how it affects us. If I have an Infiniti comes in our shop and our guys don't have access to information, it's my understanding, after a period of time, either the warranty runs out or a number of years, I thought it was 3 years, that the dealer cannot prohibit me from accessing all the spec sheets and all the new codes. That's exactly what we're looking for. And the things, I thought that applied to all.
No, it's
now,
just all.
Here's where I might differ with y'all, and you correct me here. If I'm Apple, or in my case, if I'm Maserati, okay, and I've put investment, intellectual properties, I've done testing, I've taken it in the marketplace, it's mine, I own it. Then after a period of time, maybe others should have access to it, but for that initial point, that's why I invented it. That's why I hold that patent or that proprietary information kind of hostage. You're telling me in your industry you cannot access those parts
That's correct.
ever?
No.
That's correct.
Ever?
Never. That's right. You cannot. Like that he just, said, are you telling me that you cannot access those parts ever?
They really didn't know.
Like that's a great little clip. Like, I think it'd be great to collect little clips like that, like where the legislator's saying, are you telling
I
me?
kind of want to start every video that I do now with that little clip. Are you telling me?
Yeah, are you telling me?
You can't access those parts
Ever. Go back. I want to play it again. Play it. Go back 10 seconds.
Maybe others should have access to it, but for that initial point, that's why I invented it. That's why I hold that patent or that proprietary information kind of hostage. You're telling me in your industry you cannot access those parts
That's correct.
ever?
No.
That's correct.
Ever?
Never. That's right. You
It's
cannot
a
buy.
gray market.
Yeah.
This is an iPhone 6. This is 2 years old. They are now on 6S, 7. Like this is
The
old.
eight's coming out this
And
year.
I cannot ask them for even a cracked screen. They will tell me no. There is no access to parts.
Is that not a federal? What can we in the state do?
It's not a federal.
It's a consumer,
Right.
consumer protection where the contract between. I like how his attitude was, what can we as the state do about it? Rather than, well, I don't think the state should have to do something about it.
Right.
At least they asked the question.
Yeah.
Asking the question is much more than anybody else did.
Yeah.
I think that's what we were looking for the most, is just to know what their concerns are. Sometimes you had to weed that out of the other ones because they weren't very direct with it. They would just kind of make a statement. You had to guess where their stance was on it.
All right, let's finish him up. I want to go take a nap. The consumer and the manufacturer, when I'm buying this in this state, you can compel them. You could say after 2 years or whatever.
And that's what we're looking for here.
Yes.
Right. There was an
Yes.
automotive one, which you're probably going to relate to, that passed in 2014 from Massachusetts, and that's what's going to. We're mocking the same exact bill for consumer electronics.
Was it 1 year, 2 year, 3 years? How long was it?
I don't even think it's a waiting period, is it?
I'm not sure about that.
I'm pretty sure that one kicks in 2018. I'm almost positive.
It was passed in
That's-
2013
Right.
in Massachusetts, and it pretty much just said
Landslide.
manufacturers have to make the parts and information available at the same cost, or at cost. Just
Fair.
just fair,
Fair pricing.
not free, not giveaway. But if I'm gonna give my dealership this, like software or parts or information, and I sell it to my dealership, then I'm going to allow the guys that have been fixing cars for 50 years to also buy that from me, just like that.
If I'm repairing a Lexus and I've got to have a part specific that they have, and right now they're the only ones manufacturing the part, I don't expect to go get the part at their cost.
Right.
I expect to get the part cost plus markup.
Right, not at their cost, at any cost. Like, I'll pay for it.
Right.
At a cost.
You want it at a cost so that you
I want to be able
can.
to buy it. I want to be able to say, sell it to me.
You just want
I'll pay whatever.
to be able to help your customer. That's all you want to do. You want to be able to buy a part and make money and still help your customer and give them a good experience, right? That's all you want to do when you buy that
your
Lexus part.
attempt to this bill is to seek a summer study. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, and
And have it reworked to where it applies to
consumer electronics.
electronics.
So, this guy was paying attention. He heard what we said. He listened. He was sick, so he, would be kind of like, I would expect him to not pay attention. But he was like, you're wanting this, and he put it together, and he was able to say back exactly what we wanted. When we talked to Eldridge the day before, I thought he paid attention, heard and got some of it, but then he didn't really understand what the point was, where he doesn't now know, wait, were those people in support of the tractor bill? Or, like, he didn't really kind of put
To
together
together.
our intent.
Right.
Whereas this guy was like, so is this what you want? I agree. And I thought that was great. Let's finish him up.
It goes from being a tractor bill to consumer electronics
We
bill.
don't want to get rid of tractors.
No, that was included in Nebraska. It was for both.
It becomes just like the rest of the ones that are out there, and this is a tough issue where you have to think: can we compel businesses to do things?
Yeah, I'm a little bit in this camp of, I hate mandates.
Right.
Can we mandate to a manufacturer who, again, has done R&D, and they
Right.
put up front money, they
Right.
developed it,
Right.
it's theirs.
Right.
When does it become yours, though?
Imagine never being available, having those spreadsheets available for infinity, even after 3 years or 10 years, and you never have those available, and you can never fix them.
There's a federal law that kicks in on the automotive repair, but tractors aren't
That
applicable.
allows you, but we can't. So no matter what, if we're 20 years ahead, as of right now, we do not have availability of that spreadsheet.
Is it not similar to a pharmaceutical company developing a drug? And then
You
after
would
a
think
period of
it would be,
time,
but it's not.
It has to be open as a generic drug that anybody can go
See,
out and
we're
grab.
not-
But
sounds-
we don't close. They haven't done that.
That sounds entirely reasonable, and honestly, in talking with a lot of folks, I've never heard anyone suggest maybe I would feel better about compelling businesses if we said you have to make this available at this,
So do you guys not work on any cars that are less than 3 years old at all? Because you're talking about failure too. So we're also talking about physical damage. So
The challenge that we have in automotive is they've extended warranties now. on
Right.
cars,
Right.
Again, to lock that customer in.
Right.
So they try to convey the customer, oh, you have to come back to Chevrolet, or you have to come back to Volkswagen, when it's not even true to begin with. I mean, you have your standard 12/12 warranty. So we're trying to say to our customers as we see them, you've got the choice here. After your warranty runs out, you can pay 3 times the price and go to the dealer, or you can come to Firestone or my shop or anybody else's. And so that's a learning curve, and most people have gotten to the point. But the parts now, there are still part specifics where, and it's rare, but if we're looking for a brake caliper on a 2016 Land Rover, I mean, kind of rare vehicle, rare part, we may be forced to go back to the dealer because the aftermarket demand is so minimal. Not many people, when they go out and you start building a bunch of brake calipers for 2016, they will in 5 years, but they won't right now.
But you have the option today. We don't have that option.
Right.
If you go buy a lawnmower today, you get a diagram that shows every piece on it, and okay, I bent my sprocket, and I want this. I go here and I order it. You don't have anything like that for a phone or an iPad.
Yeah, they have the right now. You'd go and say, all right, I'll pay your ransom for the brake caliper because you got it and I don't. But for us, they will say, we're not selling you that. Throw that.
It's that dang federal law, y'all.
Keep that plan so we can get to it. Is it?
I'd agree with that statement.
Phone away.
throw that electronic away.
Gotcha.
And that seems unfair to the consumer.
Right.
That there's repairable phones.
Okay, so what Drango wants to do on his bill is keep it with tractors and include
yes
electronics devices,
yes,
which would be iPhones, iPads,
just consumer electronics.
Yeah, consumer electronics.
laptops.
If you want to fix your vacuum,
If it's got electronic inside of it, we're getting away from this repairability. Like it's replace, and it's because the manufacturers are doing things in general to make things only replaceable.
Imagine breaking your phone and you have important contacts in there. You break it, well, swap it out. You're going to lose everything.
Now remember, this is what Jimmy uses for his phone.
You know,
still break
I
it.
fixed a couple of those.
But I don't have it operating.
Right.
I have my security cameras on this phone.
But how upset would you be if you broke that phone and it could be fixed for $50 or $60, but they want to charge you $500?
I get it.
I mean, and they're taking the right away, even with you. Like, you're talking about extended warranties. When does it not become the consumer's choice to void their warranty or not? Like, if I've got my brand new pickup truck and the closest Chevy dealer is 3 hours away, but you're in my town, and it's 50% more for you to fix it, but I'm going to void my warranty, but I don't have to drive 3.5 hours and waste a whole day. When did it not become my decision to do that? Like, I understand there's warranties involved, but if I want to void my warranty, that's my right as a consumer to void my warranty and let you fix my truck and not Chevy kind of thing. They can't restrict me because of a warranty. That's a choice,
And some of our stuff isn't warranty. Some of it's physical damage. So it would be like somebody running their pickup into the wall and you not being able to get the body parts to fix the front end of that truck because it's under warranty or it's theirs, there's intellectual property, however you want to look at it. You can't even repair the front end of that pickup physically because you don't have access to the right parts to be able to do it. So it's not just warranty, it's physical damage as well.
You kind of cross a line at one point
Right.
where you get kind of sneaky and sinister, where it's like you used to an iPhone 5, home button fails, I can get another home button, I can swap it in, I could go buy a new iPhone 5 and swap in the home button, I could do that. And now, then with the iPhone 6, there was a time where if I changed the home button, I no longer have access to reprogram the new fingerprint sensor, so the customer has to give that up. There's nothing I can do about that, but at least it would still work. Then they rolled out a software update that would come into your house, to your Wi-Fi, and take your working phone you've been using for 6 months since Larry changed your home button, and then all of a sudden I wake up in the morning and it's a brick. It is unusable because they rolled out a software update that said, hey phone, if you don't detect the original home button, shut yourself down permanently and take away my property. That I have the right to choose for Larry to put my home button in.
Okay. All right, I get it. I get it.
So, great.
What concerns do you have? That's the main thing we're looking for.
But he's an automotive. I love that you're an automotive because you felt this same thing.
I know.
I don't think there's anything else left in
Not
these,
really.
I mean, he was on board.
We talked about the safety issue a little bit.
So what's the wrap up for what's happening now? So Tennessee decided, when we got here, Tennessee was going to have a public hearing about the tractor only bill. And what's the current status now? That public hearing is happening in
20 minutes.
20 minutes. It's going to be.
Is it? None of us are even going to
It's
go.
not going to be an open hearing. Well, it is being an open hearing, but it's not going to be one that they're going to require any debating in because it's going to be pushed off to the summer session.
So
to
it's
be
like a
rewritten.
formality kind of hearing.
Right.
Yes.
So that's
Hey, this is
It'll
what
be
we got.
rewritten
This is what
during
we're
the
going to
summer
do.
session.
Great. More time for naps.
Kind of what I heard them say though was they were looking at this bill to maybe still go with tractors and maybe come up with a secondary bill.
Yeah, we talked to him if he wanted to make it one bill or.
So
if he
John
wanted to
Deere
separate
came
it.
and visited him today.
Yes.
What'd
right
they
before
say?
we got there.
Did you like trip him up in the hallway or punch him out?
No.
He said that
were they guys?
he
were
brought up
they
the
wearing, like,
fuse.
green hats?
They weren't
He
wearing
brought up the
green.
fuse scenario,
So you didn't
and
recognize him?
all green outfits.
Yeah, exactly.
he said he brought up the fuse scenario, and that
Oh, he told. Yes, that makes me so happy.
the
Kenny!
John Deere,
The-
the Kenny.
Yes,
I
that
know.
his story was finally told. So indirectly.
And he said that the John Deere people, all they said was they were working on it.
Yeah.
They're working on it. Oh, well, then that's fine.
Yeah, great.
Just tear up this bill. They're working on it.
They're working on
Yeah,
it.
just throw it away.
All right, so
But I agreed with him that
What
a,
did the
a
tractor
liability
people say?
clause. Huh?
tell us what the tractor people said.
Just that they were worried about the liability that would be attached to the company if somebody did have access to these tools.
So that if somebody
modified
it,
the speed on their tractor
So that it would
and then goes out and
grind up your arm.
Yeah, pretty much, or run into something because it's not made to operate at those speeds,
Yep.
that they were worried that they in turn would be sued because someone was allowed to change that.
Lots
Right.
of traffic on those cornfields.
Yeah, well,
I think it would be like, well, we're going to sue
I mean, you
John
gotta think
Deere
some of
because
these
I
devices are
expected
top
an
heavy, they
alarm to
flip
go
over or
off
something.
when I didn't put my seatbelt on
Yeah.
and to remind me.
Removing liability
Well,
is totally fair. I think
yeah, I
it's fair.
agree with
absolutely.
it. I told him I would fully support that being in there because I don't think there's any reason that
Just as battery
if somebody
blows up?
decides to work, if just his battery blows up because somebody wasn't stabbing it.
That's on Jessica.
No, it's not on Jessa. It's on the stabber.
I have
Which is
seen
you,
the-
not Apple.
I've seen lift trucks where lift trucks have codes on them where you can go in and change the settings on them. And in the industry that I work in, we purchased lift trucks and we got mechanics in there that know the codes, and so the user of the lift truck would be standing beside them and see them put the code in, and they would go in and change some of the settings, such as the speed,
Speed
the hydraulic
limit.
speeds. So I can kind of understand that a little bit, but I don't know how you get around that unless you just take the liability away from the company if somebody goes in and alters it.
Do you think they have the right to change those codes?
I can speed.
Yeah, exactly.
My car lets me go faster than like
The
speed limit.
the user.
That's tough, though.
I mean,
like,
if they-
does
if
that
they-
mean when you say lift truck? Is that what I call it? A dump
A
truck?
tow motor.
Tow motor, like
Tow
a
motor.
forklift.
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 Oh, a forklift. Okay.
We use poles on ours in the industry that I work in.
Oh, really lost it.
I was there.
But I mean,
Forklift. But so if you're doing, let's say that I'm the guy standing by some pallets, and here comes the forklift driver, and if I am the other person, I could be expecting the forklift to operate in a certain way.
Sure.
And that if this dude has changed it so that now it can go,
Yeah.
that I'm like, well, I'm expecting that thing to go.
I mean, if you're moving, pallets that have totes of liquid on them, you're expecting it to go up at a certain
Right.
speed instead of just coming
Right.
up and maybe causing an unsafe
Right.
condition.
And that's acid, and then it goes on the lithium batteries, and
Right.
you have to go fire. I get it.
But looking at John Deere's diagnostic tool that somebody had a picture of, it looks a lot like what they use with diesel trucks. So any of your big rigs on the road use the same interface style. And you can go in and modify everything on those. You can set speed limits that they can max out at. They can't go any faster. You can set pretty much any parameter on it. So some on semi trucks, they have aftermarket software that they've obtained. A lot like what we do, where we can get access to certain things that aren't necessarily for the public, but they have third-party options to modify those settings. So individual truck companies can go in and set speeds that they don't want anybody to exceed,
Right.
and then lock it down with their own password.
Okay.
But it's not something that they have direct access to. It's kind of a gray market situation again. So.
I can see how this would just come across as super complex. Like, we need to think about it. And one thing I liked, especially for like YouTube people that are following this along, Eldridge and Jernigan both said that in their experience of passing bills that are new, it's a new world. They're trying to map out the laws for something new. That it's not something that you can really get done with the thought you need to put into it when your calendar is like however short these legislative sessions are, and that it's not uncommon that you kind of have to talk to a lot of people, think about it, formulate these ideas, and that in one case for him it took 7 years to ultimately pass something. That's extreme, but I thought that was like really kind of made me feel less demoralized about nothing's happening,
Right.
And it's just kind of, it is a complex thing.
It seemed like the average time length on those was around 2 to 4 years. As most of them were saying that they had.
Wasn't the
lady said she had one in there for 4, and
that was
on
coming
the,
up today.
Yeah.
Nobody sues Ford when a brake caliper fails, when a third party puts in their own brakes.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I think that's the same logic that should be brought over into our industry. I don't think Apple should be liable for somebody going in and
and they're not. Like, this is just silly. Of course
I really, I would understand why they would be afraid if this bill came out. Because we live in a sue-happy society. Somebody would happily sue Apple because they tried to fix their phone and they stabbed themselves.
Yeah.
If somebody can sue, somebody sued McDonald's because the hot coffee burned them.
Yeah,
And
you
won.
can sue anybody.
That's the thing, dude, and they won. They won.
that one was a little more complex too, because McDonald's did actually overheat the coffee in that one. So.
Coffee is burning. Every time I've ever
Well, I
somebody's ever
understand
given me
common
coffee
sense
and I
is
drink
common
it.
sense. Yeah.
I can't even drink coffee because when they give it to you, it's boiling. I don't know how anybody drinks.
Wait, is that why you don't drink coffee?
It's
Because
burning.
of
How
your
do you-
delicate, like, root
Why
roof of your
would
mouth?
you drink something that's boiling? That's insane.
Why do you eat hot sauce?
Hot sauce is not
That's
burning.
fire. Yes, it fucking is.
It's not boiling.
It's,
the temperature of it is not above 200
it's not
Celsius.
any different than like
100 Celsius.
drinking a shot of gasoline. You know, it's just like incredibly uncomfortable. I don't understand why anybody does anything with hot sauce. Are you just gonna take off your temper class? Are we
This
done?
thing is
It's
shit.
time for a nap.
Yeah, it's time to get out of here.
All right.
Thank you as always.
Bye. We gotta go take a
Bye.
nap.